Before you go charging off to find your fortune, I have a few basic tasks I'd like you to perform, so as to help you to get to know the place. First of all, I want you to visit the Aetherite Plaza. To get there, head west from here till you reach Emerald Avenue, then look to the north. You should see a giant floating crystal called an Aetherite. If it weren't for Aetherites, traveling around Eorzea would be a damn sight more troublesome than it is. Of course, you still need to attune with them before you can use them, so be sure to do that with the one in the plaza. You ever attuned with an Aetherite before, Fane? If not, just lay your hand on the thing and you'll see what I mean. When you've done that, I want you to pay a visit to the Gladiators Guild, over at the Colosseum. Assuming that sword ain't just for show, you might consider training there. And finally, I want you to visit the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, over on the steps of Thal. Goods from all across Eorzea and beyond turn up there every day. You'll have no trouble finding armor, weapons, or anything else a fledgling adventurer like yourself might need. You might say that everything's for sale here in Ul'dah, as long as you've got the gil. Just make sure as you don't pay more than you ought, Fane. There's plenty as won't scruple to swindle unsuspecting foreigners like yourself, especially if they think no one's looking out for their best interests. Which is why I'm giving you this letter. When you visit the exchange, find a gentleman named Cesaroga and give it to him. He'll be happy to tell you about the markets once he's read it. In short then, visit the Aetherite Plaza, the Gladiators Guild, and the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Simple. Oh, but before you go, a word of advice. While there are more than a few unsavory characters out there who will try to take advantage of you, there are also some with honest-to-goodness problems who you should consider offering a helping hand to. A lot of folk are lured to this city by the promise of wealth and power. What many of them fail to realize is that instead of chasing after gil the moment they get here, they ought to be making friends. Let it be known that you're willing to give as much as you get, and opportunities will come your way. Speaking of which, you should speak with the smith over yonder. Those lads always have some good advice for up-and-coming adventurers. Otherwise, that's about it from me. It's past time you got going. Oh, and let me know when you're finished, will you? That way I won't spend my days worrying that you're down to your small clothes without a gil to your name. Okay, so now we are going to go out into the city. Let me check my map. I think I'm going the wrong way. Let's see. Here's the Aetherite Plaza up there. So I think I'm going to go there first, because that's in the same area. Oh, look at all the little pets. Look, a Shiba Inu. Aww. I think that's the right name for it, right? A glowing fox? Oh, a sheep. I love pets in games. Okay, so let's go ahead and attune. Oh, another cutscene. Hail, adventurer! Might you have come at the behest of Miss Momody of the Quicksand? Excellent. Which brings us to the matter of the attunement fee. That will be 100,000 gil, if you please, sir. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Apologies, but I do so relish the opportunity to make that jest. The look on your face was absolutely priceless. Ah, but the fact that you were so easily deceived suggests to me that you are unfamiliar with the use of Aetherites. Allow me to explain. These crystalline agglomerations tap into ethereal energies, and are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Perchance you have heard of Return and Teleport? Well, these transportation spells make direct use of the Aetherites, and their connection to the flow of Aether. Given that there is an Aetherite in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer with a mind to explore the realm will wish to seek out and attune himself to each and every one. But even if you have no intention of wandering beyond the Sultanate's borders, it would be prudent for you to attune yourself to any Aetherites you encounter from now on. I pray you found that informative. Should you wish to learn more about Aetherites or transportation magic, I should be happy to answer your questions. And we learned Return. So that'll come in handy. Okay. Now, let's check the map and see where we're going next. Ooh, those high-pitched voices. My throat's a little sore. So there's a lot of side quests. Like I said in the intro, I am not really going to be doing any side quests on this playthrough. I'm mostly focusing on the main story and the main story quests. So, if I remember right, it starts kind of boring and gets interesting later. So, the beginning few episodes might not be the most interesting. Let's see. This is the Gladiators Guild. Alright. Welcome to the Gladiators Guild, friend. Tell me, are you new to the thrills of mortal combat? Well, whether you are or not, you are new to us. If you would take your place in these hallowed halls, you must be willing and ready to undergo the most rigorous training. You must endure cuts and bruises beyond counting, and like as not, far worse. A daunting prospect, I concede, but there is no other way if you mean to take to the Blood Sands one day. And why wouldn't you? The Colosseum is only the most celebrated place of public entertainment in all of Ul'dah. Where else could a poor man amass a fortune so vast as to one day allow him to claim a seat on the Syndicate? There's not an Ul'dah alive who isn't inspired by the rise of the self-made man, and there is no truer embodiment of this than the gladiator who wins riches and fame with his sword. Throughout its long and storied history, this guild has nurtured countless champions. Our training methods are second to none, and our members ever strive to develop new techniques. If you desire true glory, to fight in triumph amidst the roar of 10,000 voices, then this is where you belong, adventurer. Think of it. Think of your legacy, and if your soul stirs, join us. Whew! Alright, on to the next one. Let's see, where do I go? All the way over here. Sapphire Exchange. Is this part of an event? Are they doing like an event over here? I love cactuars. They're like in every Final Fantasy game, and I adore them. They're amazing. Just these tiny cactuses running around. Well, they're not always tiny, but, you know. I've played several other Final Fantasy games, and they're always... They're in every game. And you are? Ho, a newly come adventurer. But of course. Yes, I am Cesaroga. What can I do for you? Ah, you would have me teach you the ways of the marketplace? Very wise. As for my fee... What? You expect me to do it for free? Surely you jest. My dear adventurer, when you ask an Ul'dah for a favor, you should at least try to make it worth his while. Judging by your garb, I rather doubt you could afford my services, but the fact you offer nothing is laughable. Oh, Mistress Momody instructed you to seek me out, did she? Consider yourself fortunate to have such influential friends. I shall be brief, and you shall be attentive. You stand in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, the busiest and most profitable marketplace in the Sultanate. Being advantageously situated in relation to the other city-states, Ul'dah's markets have ever served as both the literal and figurative centers of Eorzean commerce. All the great overland trade routes lead to our city, and the majority of maritime trade between Vilbrand and Aldenor passes through our ports. Because of this, countless companies and consortia have chosen Ul'dah as their base of operations. They see to it that this marketplace is awash with merchants and moneylenders day and night. Anything a man could ever desire can be purchased here, provided he has sufficient funds. Surely there's something you seek, adventurer? A deadlier sword, perhaps, or a shinier trinket. Whatever it is you want, the exchange will have it. To the north, you will find merchants peddling armor and accessories, curatives, and crafting materials. And to the south, you will find weapons, tools, and an assortment of other useful items for sale. Seek out a particular merchant or browse to your heart's content, but do try to remain aloof should you find something that piques your interest. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually unwise, especially where coin is concerned. That is all the complimentary aid you shall have from me, and far too much for my taste. My regards to Momody. Now off with you. I forget whether there's any rolls. Like dodge rolls. I don't think there are. Not in this game. Wait. Is this a seal? Oh my gosh, it's a baby seal! I want one. How do I get one? How was your tour of the city, Fane? Get lost, did you? Well, Uldal's a big place with lots to see and do, but wandering around aimlessly don't pay the bills. If you're serious about making a living here, you'll need to remember where things are. So when you go exploring, explore like you've got a purpose, eh? Alright then, all that's left is for you to work hard, make money, and spend it here at the quicksand. Whew. And I need... Let's see, yeah. So I need a level up before I can take the next quest. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will be back. Okay, and I took care of some side quests, so now I'm back to the main story. Well, youngling, how are you finding our fine Uldal then? Got your bearings about you yet? If so, mayhap it's time you ventured beyond the city walls. The bustling streets of Uldar are one thing, but the wilds of Thanalin? That's another altogether. I know a bloke you might fancy speaking to, and he you. Name of Papashan. You'll find him over at the Uldar Dispatch Yard. No doubt he'll have some work for you. The dispatch yard's over in central Thanalin. Just head out the door across the hall, and you'll see the Gate of Nold staring right back at you. Pass through it and head east. You'll come upon it 'fore long. There's dangers beyond the wall, though, more than I'd care to count. Nothing too terrible, mind you, but feisty enough to attack if you draw near. Don't say nobody cared enough to warn you. Alright, so this is going to be our first combat. I think this door? Central Thanalin? Yeah, straight over here. Well, I'm assuming we're gonna get to fight something soon. Because everything up until now has been just talking. Which I guess it's because, you know, there's a lot of information to throw. But maybe too much all at once. Most MMOs are going to have you fighting by this point. Let's see. Over here. I don't want any of that. It'll be really nice once I get a mount. It'll be so nice to be able just to run around. So these little guys, what you call them? I can't remember them. The little short elf guys. Their names are all like just a bunch of random noises. Papashan, Sisidoa, Gigi Nasu. It's such weird names. Let's see what Papashan has to say. Well, you certainly look the part of an adventurer, my friend. Might you be the good soul Momody advised me to expect, I am Papashan, station master of this humble dispatch yard. An empty title, I assure you. I am no more than a tired old Lalafell passing his final years in quiet and solitude. Lalafell, that's the short little guys. 12 know there have been plenty of both these last 5 years since the calamity struck. The devastation was vast. Yet now true Uldans work together, doing all in our power to rebuild what was laid to ruin. By the sweat of our brows and the love of our home, we have rebuilt Ul'dah to the grandeur and majesty that you see today. The railways which run through this dispatch yard, too, were born of the noble efforts of a great many souls. But there is still much work to be done. The wounds left by the calamity run deep. Isolated areas beyond our lines of supply remain, and there are places yet wanting for relief and restoration. Ul'dah needs the aid of you and your brethren, friend. In fact, never has our need been more dire. Which brings me to the point, I suppose. I do believe I may have some work suited to one of your ability. I'm gonna grab the boots. Equip those, because they are much better than what I had before. I like them. Nice little style. Since you've come all this way, perhaps you can perform an errand for me. It just so happens a number of sentries have been sent to guard the area. A dispatch to the dispatch yard, as it were. His voice is really hard to do. I'm trying to do like a, like an old man, little kid voice, and it's tricky. They have long been away from the shade and feather beds of the city. The hot days and cold nights can play hells on the mind and body out here. It isn't much, but go and give them these twilight pretzels, would you? I find comfort food always helps when I feel like killing myself. Alright, and that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see. Hit that notification to keep up with the series as I work my way towards level 90. Take care, everybody.